Rise, if you wish, for the invocation and the pledge. Dear God, tonight we are grateful for our parks. They provide the opportunity for our residents to play as well as enjoy nature and the arts. We ask as we begin the spring season of ball at Sullivan and Keller that the players, their supporters, and those running the leagues would have great experiences this year. And as we plan to develop Alexander Island as a nature park available to all, that the funding for moving forward would be granted by the ECHO program this year so that we may be open to the public by year's end. We also are thankful for the contributions to our community by Gateway Center for the Arts in Gateway Park. As we consider the matters before us this evening, grant us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding so we may make the best decisions for those who have entrusted us to represent them. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is a special City Council meeting for the month of February. City Clerk, would you do the roll call, please?
Councilmember Sell.
Here.
Councilmember Pappalardo.
Here.
Councilmember Stevenson.
Here.
Mayor Chazet.
Here.
Vice Mayor Butlin.
Here.
Are there any deletions or amendments to the agenda? Hearing none, we move on to my favorite part of the evening, which is a special presentation to Gateway Center of the Arts. And I would like to ask Terry Hogue to come up in front of the dais here, and I will join her. Many of you have had the privilege of seeing the lovely mural that is now on the side of the building at Gateway Park, where Gateway Center for the Arts operates. And in appreciation for that, we want to install this plaque that reads, "The City of DeBary extends its sincere appreciation to Terry Hogue for envisioning and creating this mural inspired by Alexander Island. May it bring joy to our community for many generations to come." So Terry we will hold it for pictures here, but we will turn it over to the Parks and Rec Department for installation on the wall. Please join me in congratulating and thanking Terry for her efforts. I think all of us would agree it is a phenomenal addition to that building and our community. Thank you so much, Terry. And while you can't take the plaque home, you may take those.
I am humbled and honored to be.
Step up here.
I really have to go to this.
Yeah. Here you go.
So my friends can keep secrets. I did realize that. So I just wanted to thank everybody. This is beautiful. I will never forget this moment. And I do want to say it is truly humbling, and I am honored to be a part of the City of DeBary. The town is wonderful, and it's very easy to get inspired and creative. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm going to deliver this to Parks and Rec for installation. But Terry, thank you so much. Does anyone else on council want to say a word to Terry about the mural?
We ran into Terry when my buddy Steven came into town 2 weeks ago, maybe, and I showed him the mural, and he wanted to get his picture taken in front of the mural too. So it's on social media now, so he loved it. So it's just another thing it's DeBary. I mean, don't know what else to say, that you had the inspiration to paint an entire wall of Gateway and then have your son videotape the whole process, which was amazing. So
Yes, thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
I was lucky to call Terry a neighbor for about 5 years before I moved away. I'm sorry about that. But, you know, Terry's dedication goes a lot further than just the mural, and the way she feels so connected and possibly inspired, it really shows through in that mural. It's absolutely beautiful, and you have so much effort that you put into the city and Gateway Center, and we're so thankful for that.
Thank you. Just also to echo my fellow council members, our appreciation for everything you do with the Gateway. That video time lapse of you doing the mural just gave me a whole new appreciation for the process, the vision, and of course your talent and skill and perseverance to get things done. So thank you. You deserve it.
What can I say? Everyone else has their wings that people take pictures in front of. We now have our mural. So have at it with the photo ops. I think it's great. I'm looking forward to the plaque being up there. But thank you, Terry, for the work that you did. I know it's hard work. I don't know how you stay on that ladder as long as you do because it's just high. But thank you. It's going to be appreciated for many years to come.
City Manager, did you want to say a word?
Well, I do. Thank you, Terry. I mean, you're just a talented individual, and we appreciate everything you do for our community. This is just the beginning, because as you know, we're planning many murals at downtown. And your input is going to be extremely important, and as we customize our downtown to the DeBerry image. So we appreciate everything you do. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much.
All right, so let's give her a round of applause. The next item on our agenda is a request by Parks and Rec to approve the renewal of the DeBerry Babe Ruth agreement and give the city manager authority to execute a sponsorship agreement with the league to renew scoreboard sponsorships. So
You got it, Mayor. Jason Scheitz here with the Parks and Recreation Director here with the City of DeBerry. Yes, and we're here to renew the annual Babe Ruth agreement. So last year we did the full renewal. It's a 3-year term contract. We brought it back this year for the additional 1-year renewal, and then we've also added a few amendments to the agreement. One being Section 7, Conduct and Sportsmanship, to establish expectations and procedures for league participants to align it with our policies and procedures in that area. And then we've also added some additional information, the concession section, as we move into the new Ops Center over at Sullivan, and then the remodeled concession over at Bill Keller Park. So we've changed some things with the concession operations, and that is now in the agreement. And then the last thing you mentioned, the sponsorships for the scoreboards are up for renewal this next year. If you remember when we installed those, the league took the helm in selling those sponsorships, and then we split the revenue on it to put back into the facilities. So we're going to put together an agreement for that as well. So within the next year, hopefully we'll have those renewed, and we'll have some additional funds to put into the facilities when that's all said and done. So we are asking for your approval on the agreement. I do have their newly elected president here, Joe Zubel, and Rick McBride, the liaison for the league. So I'd like to give them the opportunity to say a few words as well, and then have your any of your feedback, questions, and approvals.
Hello. You guys never have us this early. Goodness. Thank you. We can usually count on 5 things before us normally. You guys know me. I'm Rick McBride, 40 Bougainvillea in DeBerry. Thank you. That's what we always want to say to you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your 100% support. We appreciate everything you guys do for us. We've had a great year, in the report that we sent to you. Everything has been going well for the most part, and we're excited to start a new season. And I'm very excited to introduce you to our new president, Joe Zubel. Say some words.
Thank you, and thank you all for your support. I am 3 years into DeBerry. My youngest son has been in Babe Ruth since we first got here, and I'm looking to be here for a long time. So I'm really looking forward to continuing to working with the city and the league as their president, and supporter as my kid's father. So thank you very much.
thank you.
And of course, you guys know our opening day is this weekend. We're also doing the concession thing. We wanted to just
Operations
recognize
Center.
Operations Center. long time coming, I know that.
Yes.
Since I started in 2004, and it was a topic of discussion then. So 20 years later, you guys got it done. Thank you very, 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 very much. It's your guys for getting that done. And Bill, I know you were big on that. Appreciate that. And Phyllis, of course, and all of you, the mayor. We knew we had to get it done. But anyway, we are having opening day. Hopefully, you guys will all be there for the ribbon cutting for the operations center, and we're going to do it a little different this year. So we're excited about that. You guys are going to see, and then we would love for all of you to come out on the field like you do and give the kids high fives and talk to the audience and everything. Believe it or not, I will not be there. So Joe will be running it, and this is good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Sarah will really be running it. Joe will be running the
Okay. City Clerk, do we have any public participation?
No, ma'am, we do not.
Okay, Councilmember Sell, questions or comments?
Rick, how many years have you been involved with the program down there?
In DeBerry? Since 2004, 20 years.
20 years.
Yep.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Kathy Pinnell in the fall of 2024 recruited me to be on the board. That was after the hurricane.
2024, wow.
I mean, 2004. It was after we had 3 hurricanes and we were talking about canceling the season. And I was like, no, we can't do that. She goes, well, then you got to step up and help. So that's how it worked.
Councilmember Pappalardo?
No comments, but thank you. This is a great program.
Councilmember Stevenson?
No questions, thank you.
Vice Mayor Butland?
I always have a few.
Sure.
I'm looking at the budget, and it says capital allocation general and capital allocation signed sponsors. I don't know who wants to answer that, but I didn't know what the capital allocations were for. I know the sponsor money came in.
The capital allocations in our budget?
Yeah.
So the capital allocations in our budget are, first of all, we allocate $5,000 every year, and we don't spend it, it'll roll over. But then there's the $15,000 from the agreement that Jason mentioned, where we sold the sponsors for it. It was a match with the city.
But what are you looking to do with it? Do you have something in set already to?
So the agreement basically says that us and the city have to agree on what we're going to do, and what we had moved forward is basically at Sullivan knocking out. If you've been to Sullivan 2, you know that the dugouts there are way nicer than any other dugouts. They have heat resistant panels, roof panels. The dugouts are much larger. It's much more comfortable, especially for things like adult activities like the kickball and stuff like that. But even the senior softball players there, they're 16, 17, 18 years old. So it's nice to have those bigger dugouts. So what we were going to use the money for, as far as we could stretch it, was to do, would it be 10 other dugouts? Yeah, 10 other dugouts to 3 at Keller and 3 fields, 6 dugouts, and 2 fields, 4 dugouts at Sullivan that would basically give everybody what we have at Field 2. So like at Keller, for instance, you stand there and if it's raining, and we don't really stop playing unless it's really pouring or there's lightning, it's great, it has a sunshade, but the water just pours through it. And then at Sullivan, if you've been up there, and they're at the old block dugouts, and they get it's like being in a pizza oven. Gets to be on a Saturday afternoon, it gets to about 140 degrees in there. So, we want to get the combination of the air flowing through, the size, and the heat resistance. But that's what we had come to. And then we have some other things as well, but that's the main project.
So that's something you're looking to do this year?
We were planning on doing it, over the winter, and then I can't remember exactly, but
Well, we're just working through the budget on it. We have a part to play in that as well. So with the 10 dugouts, Rick did a good job with their part, getting quotes for like the aluminum, things of that nature. And then the city was going to help with our contribution. So we're just working through the whole budget, and within it couldn't get done within the winter period because of just time constraints, honestly. So we're hoping to do it before fall at some point.
So it's in this year's budget?
Not in the city budget, no. We're working with the the funds for that the city had allocated were put towards the operations center, from what I understand, with the overages in that project. So we have to, most likely, if we can't get it within Babe Ruth's budget to get it started, we're just gonna wait until we can get it in the next budget. And if we're not able to start with the Babe Ruth money over the summer, we'll just wait one more season and do it next winter. So we're working through all that right now.
And we're only talking $15,000, right?
No,
Or
no.
It's more than,
Yeah,
okay,
the
because
whole
it's their
project.
15 plus our 15 is 30.
Plus everything else they have saved up in their capital
Right,
funds.
it's a 25,000
It's
earmarked
gonna be,
from prior.
It's gonna be a good-sized project to do 10 dugouts, so.
Okay.
That's everything we're working through right now.
Okay,
You know, and obviously we can't do it within the season, you know, because then the players
Because
don't
they're
have a place to go. So we got to find a time where we can get it done and kind of line all that up, so.
okay.
Yep,
Thank you.
not a problem.
Okay, I have just a couple of comments. With the striking of the new agreement between the city manager and the league, I trust that the same principle that the first agreement had, which the city and the league split at 50-50, is the shape of the agreement?
Yeah, with the sponsorship money, and that's to create that fund to do special
Right.
projects
Right.
on a joint
But the
basis.
principle is 50-50 split, which last time brought in 30,000, 15 and 15. And that is the general approach again, is that correct?
Yeah.
So the details, I'm happy to have
It is.
that.
We raised, or the league raised about 30,000. That's where the 15 and
Yeah.
15 came from. So even with this dugout project, we could have those funds coming in at the same time as well. That could also lead to additional improvements if we bring in more than what the dugouts
Okay.
cost. So hopefully within the next year, all that comes to fruition.
Somebody's doing this with their hand behind you.
Sorry, I know that's rude. I apologize, especially here in a public forum. But the way it reads is that the league agrees to pay $5,000 for the sponsorship program, regardless of how much we sell, and then the first $10,000 of sales. On top of the league commitment of $5,000 will be paid to the city, and then the remaining proceeds go to
So that's the
league.
15, and then if you can make more than 15, it's up to you. If you make less than 15, that's on you.
Correct, and that's,
Okay.
that's the way that thing was.
Because we're authorizing the city manager to negotiate it, I wanted to understand that it is an agreement that will have the same shape. I don't mind him fine-tuning the language, but that the shape of the agreement is what we had before, which seemed to be successful.
It'll be very similar.
Also, I wanted to say that I'm very happy with the addition of the rules of conduct in this agreement, because we have had some situations in the last year or two where it would have been helpful to have some specific rules that could have been called into play, and then I think people who were involved or affected might feel that the process was more normalized. It's just an observation, so I'm happy to see that there. Beyond that, is there any further discussion? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Okay. Get my microphone on. I'll make a motion to approve the agreement, approve 2023 to 2025 the Barry Babe Ruth Agreement renewal, giving the city manager authority to execute a sponsorship agreement with the league to renew scoreboard sponsorships.
Second?
Okay, Vice Mayor Butlin?
Yes.
Councilmember Sell?
Yes.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson?
Yes.
And I am a yes.
Thank you.
You bet.
What time on Saturday? Do you need us?
5?
5?
So we got the sparkler things again. Don't tell anybody. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But it's so we're gonna start our thing around 5:30.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so whenever you guys work
Yeah.
out with Jason to do the ribbon cutting. So-
Okay, probably 5 for the ribbon cutting, Jason? Okay.
Thank you.
Like the email, be there by 5, and we'll organize by the ops center and get that
Okay,
going.
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Hold on, the boss is talking. What is it?
It's fine, don't worry.
Okay.
All right.
We'll work it out. Thank you.
This can be a private conversation, yes.
Thanks,
Surely.
Rick.
The next item under new business is a staff request that the City Council approve Hydra Services, Inc. proposal for the purchase of 2 new submersible pumps at DeBerry Plantation Pump Station. So, welcome, Amy.
Welcome.
Name and title.
Amy Long, Deputy Public Works Director for the City of DeBerry. I am here this evening for a couple submersible pumps. As you may know, back in January, the city manager, Mr. Rosamonda, presented some air release valves, some ARVs. There's 11 of them along our western side pumping station. So those have been cleaned, they've been repaired, so they're all in good working order. We did have Hydra come back out and do some testing on the 2 current pumps that are right there at 1792 and Plantation Boulevard, and they still are not functioning as they should. The pumps are 16 years old. Their lifespan is 12 to 13, so the maintenance that has been done on them in previous years, we've actually gotten quite a bit of our money's worth out of them. It's critical infrastructure for that pump station to be working. So we looked at it, and right now we've already put $25,000 into getting that pump rebuilt, and pump 1 is still giving us problems, so that's another 16 to get that pump completely rebuilt. But again, it's 16 years old. One pump is $68,000, and that pump station, which they're submersible, could you go to the other slide, David? So that's what they look like. So they are down actually underneath in the ground of that pump station. And so there's lots of vibrations and shaking and what have you in that area for these pumps.
Okay. Thank you very much. City Clerk, is there any public participation?
No, ma'am, there is not.
All right. Councilmember Sell, questions or comments?
Is this is something that we have planned, or this is going to be like a rainy day fund kind of thing?
This will be coming out of our stormwater reserves. Yep, we didn't plan on this. We thought we could get these pumps in good working order, but again, we're dealing with 16-year-old pumps, and I think going forward, this is the best business decision going forward to make sure. It's one of our most critical pump stations. It serves the majority of the city, and going forward, this is the best business decision to, let's go ahead and bite the bullet, purchase these so that we don't have to worry about the performance of our pumps when the critical time comes.
Is the life expectancy of these newer pumps about the same?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's all I got.
Councilmember Papalardo?
I agree that it seems like the best route is to replace these, and it's mission critical to the structure. So, thanks.
Councilmember Stevenson?
I agree, this is critical and probably the best business decision with the age of the pumps. You had said something about them shaking a lot. Wasn't that because of the air release valves and that they're not going to shake so much anymore?
So we were just trying to go through our checks and balances to make sure that we had everything in order before we came to ask for the new pumps to be installed and purchased. So cleaning them and getting them in operation, making sure everything was working. And we actually found out there was 11 of them and not 8 along that line. So it was good that we did that. So they've all been repaired and what have you. And like I said, we had Hydra out on Monday, and they tested just to make sure now that the air relief valves were repaired, and there was still a lot of shaking and vibration in the ground.
From the old pumps then?
Correct.
So the new pumps aren't going to have the same shaking issues?
So we hope not. What Hydra has offered to us is that they will order the pumps, they will bring one in, and they will install it. And if there is shaking and vibration, they will go ahead and pull it out at no cost to the city. And then we're kind of back at square one, but it's kind of a trial and error just to make sure we don't have that same issue.
No, and that's no cost for the pump.
Just to test it.
Yep, to test to make sure. If we've had David Hamstra from Pegasus out there, who was the designer of this particular system, and so we've had a number of different specialists out there, and so we're going through the normal chain of repairs, and our folks who are specializing in the air release valves may indicate that maybe we should upsize them a little bit. Might be the answer as well, but we're going through the process to go through to make sure that we hit where the root cause is. And now we believe that we need to put these new pumps in because these are operating at not at 100% capacity.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that we're going to have this done with the timeline of hurricane season coming up. It says 6 to 8 weeks for delivery.
And then the next, he guaranteed us, we met with him this week and browbeat him a little bit and make sure that it gets stalled the next week. So that will bring us to probably the middle of April.
Okay, thank you very much.
Vice Mayor Butland?
Is that the only color it comes in?
Well, we can paint it.
Pink would be nice. No.
Okay.
It's something needed, and I'm glad we're taking this step before it's been rainy season, it seems like the last couple of months. I feel like it's been hurricane season already. But I think it's something that's needed, so I'm glad we're moving forward with the purchase of new ones and not dealing with pieces again. So I'm all for it.
I would agree that this is the next step and that we need to do it, and as soon as possible. When we have had to use the rental pumps there is a neighbor to this station that has had a lot of vibration and noise that has been a consistent interruption in their household for a number of months now. And I think that not just the system needs it, but we also need to keep the pressure up because we do have a resident that has borne the brunt of keeping everyone else safe with a lot of difficulty in their household. So the sooner we can get this step done, the better. And I do like the approach of going through the whole system, making sure everything's operating and deciding if there's any sizing issues, which we would then cross that bridge if we came to it. But we do need to do this now so that there still is some react time after the installation in April if we find out there's something subsequent that we need to do, because the upcoming hurricane season, they're rattling and saying things I don't like to hear. So I'm very supportive of this effort as the next step, and the sooner the better.
On that, Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the proposal as a sole source to purchase 2 new submersible pumps for the DeBerry Plantation Pump Station and authorize a $20,000 contingency for any additional modifications to the station, pumps, and/or valves totaling $156,892.
Second.
Vice Mayor Butland?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson?
Yes.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Yes.
Councilmember Sells?
Yes.
And I am a yes. So that is complete. We come to the point of the meeting where we have member reports. Councilmember Sell, do you have anything to report?
Not at this time.
Councilmember Papalardo?
Got to attend Gateway's Youth Celebration of the Arts on Saturday.
Yes.
Even though it was rainy, there was some nice turnout and lots of vendors, and it's a nice time. So
Yeah.
that's about it.
Councilmember Stevenson?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Vice Mayor Butland?
Yeah, I've been at a couple things. I attended the DeLand and Greater West Volusia annual meeting where they had their elections and awards, which was a great night. I attended the State of the County in Deltona. We went to the Q Breakfast, which is the economic development, and talked to DeBello, who is leaving, but she gave us some good insight as to what's going on economically in Florida. I also attended a youth celebration, and after that, I took the tour of the mansion, so which was very nice and rainy. So it was good.
Yep.
That's it for me, Mayor.
Okay. I was as well at the Celebration for the Arts after the planned outing at Alexander Island with the Native Plant Societies from Volusia and Seminole was canceled and postponed to this Saturday. I was then able to go to the Youth Celebration of the Arts, and as others have said, it was although cold and rainy, they'd moved most things inside, and the kids still had a great time, and it was a very nicely organized event as always. I also spent a significant portion of the day on Friday representing our city on the Alexander Island exceptional application for ECHO funds. There was an advisory committee meeting at which the vote to support our exceptional status met that threshold. It's a supermajority kind of vote. And then the project was rated, and it was rated above 80, which is the threshold for committee recommendation. However, it will go to the council on March 19th for consideration without the agreement of staff that we met one criteria in the application process. They would say that we are ineligible, but the eligibility vote was split 50-50. So the committee found us neither eligible nor non-eligible. So the council will have the last say. Of 9 projects, 8 were scored at 80 or above, including ours, and we were not just 80.001 or something, we were 84 plus. So that meeting will be an evening meeting of the county council on March 19th. I anticipate attending, as does our Parks and Rec, and I think our city manager. So one more hoop on that process to get through. I also was at CompStat last Thursday, and we had a very good report about the current trending of crime in DeBary, which remains low. And I also did attend the DeLand and Greater West Volusia Chamber of Commerce's annual meeting, at which I was asked to swear in John McFarland as the head of the DeBary Council within that chamber, which I did. And you may recognize that John McFarland is also representing the city on the TPO's Citizen Review Board. So he is representing us now on the DeBary Council part of the DeLand and Greater West Volusia Chamber. I think that was it for me. How about you, City Manager?
Well, since we got such a short meeting today, I thought I'd do some communication with you guys and
Drag it out.
yeah, drag it out. No. I think about a month ago, the council asked for an update on the status of
Gantt
our
chart.
projects. And so, sorry this is shaking a little bit, but it's such a vibrant document that it just vibrates a little bit. But is it moving? I'm trying to find my, there it is. Okay. So you got a paper version and as well as a version here that is on the screen. So I want to start with the DeBary Fire Station. Obviously, some of these are adjustable and depending on a number of different factors of when our vendors will either approve the funding or get back to us. First is DeBary Fire Station. As you can, let's see if this works. There. Yeah, it's a little slow. So we've been through the bid process. We did award the bid to Wharton Smith. And so right now we've had, they're going through their pre-construction services contract. And they're working on the guaranteed maximum price, and we should get that sometime in April. And then if you may recall, once they come up with a guaranteed maximum price, we will amend their particular contract. We will approve that guaranteed maximum price going forward if it meets our budget, and we will approve that amendment. And then once that occurs, then we can look for mobilization over the next 30 days, and then hopefully breaking ground on the fire station this summer in July 2024. And so hopefully, keep your fingers crossed that the guaranteed maximum price comes within a reasonable amount, and that we can approve it and move forward. So that's what the DeBary Fire Station, and I'll do questions individually on each project as we go along. So any questions on the DeBary Fire Station?
I'm glad to see that we're still basically on the same kind of timeline that we had anticipated.
Right.
Yeah.
All I can say is hallelujah.
Well, again, it's all going to depend on the guaranteed maximum price, the
Right.
construction market, et cetera, et cetera. So the Fort Florida Road reconstruction, we have a contract with Rivington, and Rivington is going out for bids this particular time. That's February and March. They have a long list of contractors they're sending those bids out to. We're not necessarily involved in that particular process. We are involved in the bid specs and everything else, and they are bidding that out as required by contract. And then We hope by the end of March, they'll have specific enough bids, and if it meets our particular budget, we'll be moving forward with that particular contract. Again, mobility for 30 days, and then we anticipate construction sometime in May, where he'll initiate that. Now, this particular project, we're going to have to close the road between Barwick and the railroad tracks. It's just too much. We'll be tearing up the entire road. We'll be raising it 3 feet. We'll be putting the trail in on the southern part. So there's an extensive amount of construction going on. So between May and October, we'll be closing that portion of the road down. Folks will have to come in from Fort Florida Road. They'll have to make a right on Barwick to get to 1792. Once that's done, we will have a trail that will be completed all the way from 1792 all the way to Alexander Island. And so that's a significant project there. Okay, Dave, let me see if I can, okay, I
Can
can.
we start
Okay.
communicating that as soon as possible? I mean, when would you start communicating that to people?
Well, once the bids are in line of what we're looking for, then we'll start communicating that within that 30 days. The residents will have a good 30-day notice.
Are we still trying to see if we can get a temporary light at Barwick in 1792?
Because the turning from.
That's-
Because
to go-
turning left during rush hour or a disruption on
Right.
I-4 is going to
Yes.
be an impossibility, and you can't turn right and then get over 3 lanes and do a U-turn either, not in that traffic situation.
Yes, I mean,
Or else we will have to have a deputy standing there morning and morning at least,
morning most.
every morning.
it's going to take FDOT approval, and we're working through that particular
Okay.
process.
Just wanted to make sure that was still part of the work.
It's still not an easy process.
I know it isn't, but we still need a try, in my view.
Yep.
Okay. And we'll have to have a fallback if we can't get it,
Yep,
which is going to be labor,
yes.
which will be a deputy probably. Okay.
Other questions?
That was it.
Okay, the Fort Florida Bridge reconstruction, I can't tell you.
Did we
close
fix
we
the
are,
one word and get the signatures?
Well, I do have the contract from St. John's Water Management District on our $1 million grant. So that's, I do have that in hand. I'm waiting for, actually, we're finishing Exhibit D today, which is the easement that goes underneath the bridge. And so hopefully we'll get this signed and I can have it to council. My target is March 6th. And so you should have this on the agenda on March 6th.
Blessings on you, Godspeed.
Yes.
Yeah, really.
And so it's an incredible process, but hopefully if that occurs, again, if that occurs, once we get the approval, then we'll go through engineering procurement. And again, Fort Florida Road Bridge is not engineered, so we'll go through that engineering procurement. And then we'll go through engineering, St. John's Water Management District permitting. And then ultimately, this is the bid process procurement here, and excuse me if I'm moving this around, that'd be March of next year. And then actually construction would be the summer of 2025 to, we'll just say Christmas 2020, or January 2026. And so that will be that road would need to be closed, obviously, for that particular period of time.
Thanks.
Because there will be no road there. I mean, we'll be taking the bridge completely out. There'll be box culverts installed. It's a fairly simple process as far as a bridge is concerned. But again, a lot of detail here. There's a lot of permitting required. St. John's Water Management District's involved. The FDEP's involved. And so it's working with those agencies never easy. And as we told with the FP&L, I have no idea what their input's going to be as far as this bridge is concerned, and how it transitions to the bridge and how it transitions after the bridge. And so there's going to be a lot of detail in all that engineering, but we anticipate road construction to be the summer of 2025 all the way to January 2026.
Yikes.
Then Alexander Island, and obviously Mayor talked about the particular process of getting that particular grant, and all this is pretty much subject to getting that a grant award on March 19th. And then that's a critical part of that. So we're talking about what we have proposed for the county council was, look, their guidelines require all the engineering, all the permitting, and it be shovel-ready for the entire project to be done before you can apply. And what we offered was an incremental engineering and construction design. Even if we had everything was shovel-ready, we would still do incremental construction. You have to build your way into this particular park. You got to get the entrance built, then the parking lot and the bathrooms and everything else. So you'll still do incremental construction. And what we propose is it's the same timeline. Is that while we're doing the incremental construction on the entrance, the parking lot, the bathrooms, and the nature trails through the Oak Hammock, the water amenities are going to take a long time to get those permits. We're dealing with 4 separate agencies: St. John's, FDEP, Army Corps of Engineers, and the Florida Wildlife Commission. And so how they play in all those and where those amenities are and how they're going to be engineered is going to be very difficult. Those water amenities, as we're going through this particular process, getting the full permitting engineering probably will not occur until February of next year. It's a whole year's process to get those done. So what we asked the Volusia County Council to do is approve our incremental. The city has put up $5.77 million in cash. That's $3.5 million for the purchase. We put up $140,000 for the concept process. We've engaged $330,000 for the engineering, and now for this match we put up $1.8 million. That's $5.77 million. They see our commitment. Ultimately, the council wants a guarantee. And we believe that our commitment of $5.77 million the last 12 months, plus our incremental construction and design, provides them that same guarantee. And so, so far, so good. But their guidelines are so tight. We've made some recommendations on how they could be improved going forward, and for the betterment of the ECHO process. And I know where they are. They've had some problems with some projects in the past, and so they really wanted to clamp down and make sure that they get the guarantee that they're looking for. So, but I think this provides them the guarantee. As I said before, the committee, this is this project is the epitome of what ECHO is all about, and there's no question about it. And hopefully they'll embrace it and move us forward. If we do not get this award, then we're going to have to wait all the way until we get the water amenities permitted. I don't think we can meet the next cycle, because next cycle application is October. We're not going to have the water amenities permitted and shovel ready by October. It'll be next February. That will put us into the 2026 cycle. And so we'll see what we can do to make sure that, and we want to open the park in December 2024. Opening it up in December 2026 just doesn't make sense. You're actually penalizing the Volusia residents 2 years for what? And just because of a guideline that might be a little too tight. We've explained that the environmental projects are a lot more complex than if you're building a playground, then you're building other structures. These environmental projects are way more complex, and to expect them to be fully engineered just penalizes the Volusia residents. So that we're working on that, and I think we're in a good place, and we'll see where we go on March 19th. But if we should get funding, you should see that the top part is the entrance engineering should be done this month. We are expecting, they've applied for the St. John's Water Management District permit for the entrance. If we do get funded and everything else, we believe that we will be able to go to, and I want to pull the date up here, by May or June, we should start construction on the entrance of Alexander Island. In the meantime, May or June, we will get the parking engineering done, the bathroom engineering done, and the nature trail engineering done while we're doing the entrance. And then so we'll have the full permitting and engineering done by June or July for the bathrooms, the parking lot, and the nature trail. And then we can start construction on that immediately and hopefully get it done before the end of the calendar year. Yes.
Will the development of the entrance require any road closures there?
Well, I got MOT there, which is Management of Traffic. If you see there on the screen there?
I saw
you
it. That's why I
MOT.
was asking.
That's Management of Traffic. I think we can get away with not closing the road there. We don't want to
That's
impact.
good, because we'll be in the middle of the Barwick
Correct.
closure.
Well, I mean, if they could have done the bridge before that, we can close that road and just do everything at once. but-
We're going to just have to take
The
what we
bridge is-
got.
The bridge is a whole nother animal, so.
We got to take what we got.
I just wanted-
We got 7 months leeway between using Barwick and
I know, I don't want to go into
going
that.
down High Banks.
Yep.
And so when we get to finishing the construction and opening the park in December, the engineering and the approvals for the water amenities will be complete, and then by February, then we can start the construction on the water amenities. And we can do that while the park is open. That's not a big issue there. So that incremental construction and design and construction is meant to get some of these parts of the park open and constructed while we wait on the permitting and on the other parts. And so, Mayor, Council, this is, and then obviously, we're also working on the motor vehicle safety zone. And that's, again, this is, again, basically a water amenity type thing. We're working through some of the permitting, and let me just make sure I got the date here. We're looking at having that completed and implemented by December 2024 as well. And so, let me see if I can get this on the screen so the residents can see it. And that's December 2024. So we should have the safe harbor, I call it safe harbor, but the motor vehicle zone. I'm sorry, the screen is just not functioning
That's all right.
on time. And so that will be December 2024. We have that as well when we open the park. And I'm sorry, the screen is just not cooperating. There we go. And so that's the last item down there. So we're working on the permitting now. And again, that's going to take a number of different agencies to get through. But we believe that we have a good case for that particular safe harbor, and that we'll be able to get it implemented and constructed by December 2024. In addition to that, I thought it'd be a good time to talk about budget cycle, as we're heading into budget cycle, budget season, our favorite. And so one of the two things I need to talk to you about, one is the strategic planning part. And so last year in strategic planning, we just took all our strategic initiatives and we gave an update on all our strategic initiatives. We still got a lot, and unfortunately, they're multi-year strategic initiatives, just like these projects that you see here. And so we did an update on our strategic plan and our initiatives, and we didn't add any new strategic initiatives. So I wanted to get feedback from the council, whether or not you want to go through the strategic planning process, what you need to add. We do have a lot going on in our organization. Quite frankly, our resources are generally maxed out. You should walk into some of our folks' offices. They got, papers are everywhere. Including our communications department. And so, but what is the council's preference? Do you want to go through another strategic planning process, or do you prefer just to get an update of all our strategic initiatives? And you got any burning issues and strategic initiatives you want to add to our list? If so, we'll go through a strategic planning process.
So I would ask for a show of hand if you want to speak to this. Okay, Councilmember Pappalardo.
Just briefly, I think at most, if we were to reevaluate perhaps a few items, if they could be lesser prioritized, because maybe there is so many large, multi-year, big-scale projects going on that it would behoove us to have fewer distractions. But beyond that, I don't think we need too much of a revisit.
Okay, Councilmember Sell.
Yeah, I think I talked to Carmen a little bit about something I had that I'd like to add to it, but it's not something that has to be done quickly, so.
Well, usually we start it before the budget process, or we don't do it for a year. So are you saying you have an item that you would like to propose to add to the list for this budget cycle?
It would not be for this budget cycle, no.
So you could do it next
Just
year?
add it to a list, yeah.
Oh, but you want it added to the list now for posterity? A year from now, we would be proud.
It may or may not take a little bit of digging around to try to get some numbers and.
Okay. And you, Councilmember Papalardo, think that perhaps if we got an update of the list, you might be able to identify a handful that you would suggest might be dropped in priority until we get through this busy period?
I think it would be worth considering. at the
Okay.
very least.
Any input from Councilmember Stevenson?
Yes, I would agree with both of those, that there might be an item to add, or items that we could change the priority, look at the priority. So I would like to go over that.
I was thinking that this might be a fairly brief thing, though. Maybe
Yes.
30 minutes that we look at it and say, here's an idea, in Councilmember Sell's case, here's an idea I had. Should we add it to the list now, just so that it's on the radar for not this budget cycle, but the next? And if you have suggestions of a couple of things that you think we could lower the priority, you would do that, and then we would just either agree or not agree within a fairly brief review.
I agree.
How about you, Vice Mayor Butland?
I have a comment about it. I'm concerned with the budget this year.
Yes, we got a lot of strains on the
We
budget.
have a lot of strains coming. We don't know what's coming yet.
Yeah.
And, I mean, strategically, we have a lot going on.
Yes,
I hate to burden our staff with more at this moment, and
Right.
especially not knowing our budget situation. I would just want to know what we set as a priority this year and what is okay to push off if we can.
Right.
Other than that, I don't think adding anything this year is something I would look forward to doing.
okay. I think Councilmember Sell was saying he would like to put something on the list with the understanding it would not be on this year's priority.
So if it would
City
be,
Manager, could we spend perhaps up to 30 minutes in an upcoming meeting reviewing your list as we've seen it in other springs, which shows what we've crossed off? That's always good to see that. We feel like we've accomplished something. What we're midstream on. And then if you, in compiling that update, see some that match what Councilmember Papalardo is saying you might suggest. These are a couple we ran into this difficulty with. Could we have a consensus to put them farther down on our list and get to them when we get to them? And then the door would be open if council members have one or two, I hope we don't add more than two, items to this list for eventual addressing by this council or future councils. Would that work? Is that enough of a review for everybody? Is that clear enough direction
Yep,
for you,
and,
Carmen?
yeah, we'll do the update, and you can certainly add a project or two, and then reprioritize some of the
Okay.
some of the problems.
And if when you're doing the update, you see a couple and say, you know what, that sounds like the kind of thing Councilmember Papalardo was talking about, I'll mention that one might be a candidate. That would be helpful.
And we like things on the list, because if I'm working on the project and it
Yeah.
relates, I can capture it and
Sure.
include it.
Yep.
Just like I did with Gateway, because we had 2 or 3 different projects, and we just clustered that into
Sure.
one initiative.
Yeah,
The second thing, I do want to talk about next year's budget cycle. It's going to be a challenging year, as Vice Mayor had talked about, budget-wise. And it may be very similar to the fiscal year 2019 and 2020, that budget cycle. And if you recall that budget cycle, we increased the millage up one year and then came back down the next year as we promised. But just to give you an idea, we have some project opportunities coming forward that we're going to require some matching. And this match is going to require some cash, but there are significant opportunities. The first one, obviously, is the Benson Junction Road. Benson Junction Road construction cost to upgrade that road is $5.7 million. That's, as you know, Benson Junction Road doesn't have a stormwater system, doesn't have any curbs and gutter, has no sidewalks, it floods, be honest with you, the road's at its last leg. It is crumbling with the heavy industrial. I'm saying it's crumbling. And so we have an opportunity to get a significant grant from TPO It's $4.3 million grant, but it requires a $1.4 million match. And so the question is, do we want to spend $1.4 million to get 5.7? And it's 3 times the, 3 times the value there. The second one, obviously, is our legislature request, which is Glen Abbey Summerhaven. And right now, they have it in the House side, I believe, 1.8 million. And but again, that through negotiations here in the next couple of weeks, that could go up to 3.6 million. That would ultimately complete the Glen Abbey Summerhaven project. If you recall, back in 2019, when we came in, I certainly was hit with this surprise that, you got all these stormwater projects. Oh, by the way, you got a $10 million collapsing pipe project in Glen Abbey and Summerhaven. So piece by piece, we've been solving this particular problem. And so that's going to require a $1.5 million match if you want that one. So given those kinds of cash, it's becoming very similar to 2019, 2020 budget year. But in addition to that, we've got some revenue challenges. And the revenue challenges obviously live local. And I've spoken to some of you, if not all of you. Integra 289 has filed for live local tax exemption. Now that's approximately, I estimated, about a $44,000 revenue loss to the city. They will save $229,000 a year in their property taxes based upon what they filed with the Florida Housing Finance Corporation. But there are other legislative challenges that are coming, and this $25,000 additional exemption that the legislature wants to pass, it's moving through the legislature, and I think it's accelerating. That will have a $500,000 impact on the city, which is not so bad because other cities are facing 1.8, 1.3 revenue impact based upon that. In addition to that, there's the expedited permitting. And we're getting on the cost side now. And the expedited permitting is that you have to expedite building permits, and that's going to add requirements to our resources there. And so we'll have to do 2 things. We'll have to either adjust our ratio with our building department vendor to compensate them for the additional resources that are needed, and or raise our fees. And so we're analyzing that fee structure now. And so we'll see how this works out as we go through this particular budget cycle. We did negotiate with our representative to put in there that cities less than 30,000 should be exempt from this law, but that the last committee meeting that was taken out. And so now we're planning on that burden. In addition, obviously, I'll be very honest with you, the inflation continues to be a burden for our community. As we look for the roads and stormwater and everything else, and I look back the last 4 or 5 years that we've been here, roads have doubled, stormwater projects have doubled, and supply chain demand, inflation, minimum wage, everything, it seems to be a particular issue. In addition, obviously, we're looking at organizational growth. And obviously, the growth that we're going to experience in the next 3 to 5 years are going to be some challenges with our growth management department. With Alexander Island, once that gets up and running, we're going to need an additional park person. And then obviously, if we do come up with take over Sunrail, we'll need an additional person in Public Works. And so these are some of the challenges that we're going to face in this next budget year. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer in this particular case, but I'm just giving you the realities that it may be, you can probably expect our first initial proposal coming from myself is that we will be raising the millage to compensate some of these depending on how they fold out. There's just between the legislature, inflation, the economy, and our growth, and it's not growth necessarily from everything here, but our adding our parks, making our downtown area as best as we possibly can. It's just going to take some additional resources to get all these things done. And so it's just a natural growth. But again, We only have 46 employees. I don't expect to anytime soon to go over 50. But ultimately, as these things, as the additional parks come on, the additional growth periods, this growth spurt that we're going to be in the next 3 to 5 years, we broke ground on our downtown, and it's just going to be accelerating now. And so we're getting calls from folks that want to move here. We're getting emails from businesses. Hey, I heard about your new downtown. I want to come. Hey, I see the downtown broke. Even from healthcare, we want to come. And so it's very exciting to get those emails that people want to desire, that now we've broken ground and it's now become a reality. Now everybody wants to come. And so it's great. I think over the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to be an economic hub that our residents can enjoy all the services here inside city limits, restaurants, breweries, specialty shops, all that kind of stuff is coming to reality, and it's coming fast. And so I just wanted to give you this picture and give you this heads up that these are all the challenges that we're facing. And residents may be, expecting obviously the millage rate to stay the same or go back to rollback financially with these particular projects and opportunities that are in front of us. I don't think that's possible this year, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody's prepared, and we'll bring the best, as we always do, bring the best budget and strategy possible moving forward.
Okay. City Attorney, do you have anything to report?
City Attorney's Office has nothing to report this evening. Thank you.
Hearing nothing further, we stand adjourned.